Hi, fourth graders. I wanted to wish you all a happy new year and kind of come in with a reminder on some of our key vocabulary for multiplication. So please be ready to take notes for your math practice today. All right, so for multiplication, we have some key terms we need to know. One of those is multiplication. What does that mean? So, multiplication is adding the same number multiple times. Um, we can also think of multiplication as repeated addition. In fourth grade, we don't like to see that as our main strategy for multiplying numbers because we get into much bigger numbers. It's okay to use repeated addition if you have single digit numbers. So, like a 2 times 5. You can write 5 two times. You can draw out groups of 5 two times, or um, groups of 2 5 times. That's a lot easier to do. But when we're getting to numbers, um, single digit numbers by up to 4 digit numbers, or 2 digit numbers by 2 digit numbers, it's a lot harder to draw those out or write them out accurately. So we're in fourth grade, we're coming away from repeated addition and we are thinking more in the terms of um, multiplying a number uh, a certain number of times. All right, so that's multiplication, adding the same number multiple times. With multiplication, we have groups of numbers. We have a certain number of groups. All right, so the product. Product is an answer to a multiplication equation. So that is the number that comes at the end of the um, or after the equal sign on on an equation for multiplication specifically. A factor. Factors, we did some of these um, the week before Christmas. I don't know if you remember, but we made factor trees where we had a number and we had to put together um, the factors that equaled that number. So factors are numbers that are multiplied together to get another number. So if you're looking at a multiplication sentence, the factors are the numbers that are before the equal sign. So you read them before you read the equal sign. Those are factors. Number we read after the equal sign, like we just went over, that's the product. So you need factors, at least 2 factors, to determine the product. Um, Another thing we need to know is our different strategies that we're using for multiplication. One of those strategies that we're using is the area model. And in terms of multiplication, an area model is a model that shows multiple numbers broken down into their place value and then multiplied together. So using those friendly numbers um, to get the partial products. Then you add the partial products together. That will give you the um, the product. So there are a lot of steps um, in multiplication in fourth grade, and that's mostly because we want to make sure that you have the understanding of why we're doing what we're doing in multiplication and how it works, so that when we get higher in math in middle school and high school, you're able to do multiplication for any size number. All right. And then our last vocabulary word that we're going to be, or well, it's a strategy. Our last strategy that we're going to talk about here right now is partial products. We talked about that a little bit in the area model. And so now we're going to go into the definition of that, of partial products. So partial products are the answer to a multiplication problem when the number has been broken down into its place value. Again, this is using friendly numbers, numbers that are easier to work with. Um, Typically, these numbers are broken down into uh, the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place, um, and then you add them all up at the end. Um, it's a lot easier to comprehend when you're doing these partial products when you're multiplying big numbers. All right, so there's some key vocabulary. I hope you enjoy the matching activity that I have for you next.